Please welcome President of UAW Local 1268, Matt Franzen.
Is it there? Get it. Get it. 1268, where you at? $2019, you remember that, the contract? What they have slated for us? Okay. But yet you guys still came to work, you did your job. You were hoping something would happen. December 9th, 2022, when corporate came in, said they're moving up the data idling, closure. You guys still came in and did your job. The difference we had was the leadership that was getting put in place. Somebody that was going to fight for us. We got lucky enough to get Brandon Campbell, Regional Director. VP Rich Boyer. And President Fain. Three guys that they haven't forgotten what it is to be on the floor. Brandon Campbell, he's from our local. He wanted this as much as we wanted it.
Don't forget yourself.
Well, and I was getting to that. So I wouldn't have ran if we didn't have that leadership here. With having our back, I wouldn't have ran. There's no way in heck. Knowing that these guys were coming in, I knew we were going to witness history. I knew if Belvidere was going to get product, it was going to happen under these guys' watch, and it did. It's unreal. It's more than what we could have hoped for. So, little background here. 3 weeks in office, I get a call from President Fain's office saying, "Hey, I want you to meet with President Biden tomorrow." Okay. I knew it was a joke. I said, okay, I'll pack my stuff up and I'll head to Washington and go meet with him. No, he's going to be in Chicago. Woo, okay, it just got real. I'm going to meet with President Biden. Nervous as hell. Got out there and they treated me good. Got a chance to, actually meet the man, meet the President of the United States. Unreal. Something I never thought I would have had the opportunity to do. But when they called my name as I'm coming into the room where the president's at, I believe all they got out was UAW, and I don't think anything else was said. President Biden kind of walked to me and said, "Matt, come here, let's talk about Belvidere and Local 1268. Came out of his mouth talking about small town America. I couldn't believe it. Lost for words. Anyway, we did our pictures, our conversation. He asked me about what was going on at the plant and stuff like that. I'm scanning the room. I'm seeing people in there. They're taking notes. And he asked, "Well, what can I do?" Well, make some calls. Anything. We could take the help, all the help we can get. Well, I saw the notes being taken. When I left, I have to believe that call happened. And to this day, I believe those calls happened. I think we had quite a few people out there helping us. We may never know who they all were. We had our protest or our picketers. We had Sean, Brandon, the whole IEB board, Richie Boyer. We had you guys going out to different locations. Now think about it. The stand-up strike, Sean's strategy. It was a movement that went across the country. It inspired so many people. It inspired the man I get to introduce because he came out and stood with the picketers. He's always been for us, with us. He proved that. So, it is my honor to introduce the guy that you guys been waiting on, President Joe Biden.
some of you don't know, my state of Delaware, a little state, because we had a small population, had the highest percentage of UAW workers in the United States of America. We had the largest GM plant. We had the largest Chrysler plant outside of Detroit. And we had a lot of shipping as well. But here's the deal. I got raised on automobiles. My dad ran an automobile. He didn't own it. He ran an automobile agency for a long time. No, let her go. Let it, no, let it, it's okay. Anyway. Look, I guess what I'm trying to say to you is, I grew up in neighborhoods where I know what it likes when the plant closes down. The large General Motors plant, as I said, largest Chrysler plant, when they shut down, people lost their sense of pride. Neighborhoods were in real trouble. People wondered whether they're going to stick around, what was going to happen to their families. It's a big, big deal. So this opening of Belvidere again is a gigantic deal as far as I'm concerned. Matt, the UAW in Boone County is lucky to have you, pal. It's good to be in Illinois with so many friends. And Gov, you've done one hell of a job. You worked so darn hard to get jobs back here in Belvidere. And by the way, you don't want to be on the other side of this guy. He knows what he's doing. And two members are here from the outstanding congressional delegation, Bill Foster and Eric Sorensen. Bill, where are you? There you are. Representative Villa. Didn't know he's here. And one of your great senators, where are you? I'm sorry, man. And two of your great senators, Dick Durbin and Tammy Duckworth, can't be here because they're in Washington voting. But they had to stay back. And by the way, they fight tirelessly for the people of Illinois. And Durbin busted his neck in this job, too, as well. Look, folks, they've worked nonstop to bring good jobs back to Belvidere. Two people of my team are here who did so much to support UAW negotiations. Our acting Secretary of Labor, Julie Sue, where are you, Julie, and Gene Sperling. I think Sean will tell you they did a hell of a job, and thank you to all the state and local leaders here today. But most of all, to the members of the UAW, you're tough as they come. First outfit ever endorsed me as a 29-year-old kid when I was running for the United States Senate, and with me my whole career. You know, the fact is, it starts at the top, though, with Sean Fain. Sean, you've done one hell of a job, pal. When I called Sean to congratulate him on this historic deal with the big three automakers, he said the credit goes to all of you out there, and it does. And it may be true, but it doesn't hurt to have a leader with a backbone like a ramrod. And that's Sean. You know, he and the entire UAW proved what I've always believed. Wall Street didn't build America. The middle class built America. And unions built the middle class. That was true in the 20th century. It's still true today. And Americans know it. That's why unions are more popular today than they've been in decades. About 6 weeks ago, I went to Bellevue, Michigan, to join your brothers and sisters on the picket line. I brought back a lot of memories of my marching on picket lines as a United States Senator. But what I didn't realize was the first time a president ever did that. It was second nature. No, I'm serious. I didn't know that. Well, I tell you, I've worn this shirt a lot, man. You have no idea. I've been involved in the UAW longer than you were alive, man. Look, that day in Michigan, I said the auto strike was about a simple proposition. You guys sacrificed to save the automobile industry. from the middle of a final. No, that's a fact. You did. Some of you weren't around. You were too young. But I mean it. But the financial crisis more than a decade ago. And now the auto companies were doing incredibly well. So auto workers should be doing incredibly well as well. You saved the auto industry. And they should step up for you. A simple proposition. You kept the picket line going for 46 days. You kept your negotiations working around the clock, negotiators. And in the end, the deal you reached set a new standard. Over 30% increase in wages with the cost of living adjustments. Bigger pay increases over the next 4.5 years than the last 22 years combined. Greater retirement security, more paid leave, and commitments by the big three to create thousands more full-time middle-class jobs, investing tens of billions of dollars, building the auto future made in America. Look, folks, these deals are game changers, not only for UAW workers, but for all workers in America. Just ask the folks at Toyota, which last week announced it would significantly finally increase wages for their workers. You had no choice. They had no choice because of what you did. You helped everybody. And look, I want to thank you for your commitment to the solidarity for exercising your right to bargain collectively. You made this happen. And by the way, it's a bigger thing I think even you all realize. You're changing the face of the country economically. I also want to recognize Ford, GM, and Stellantis. They negotiated ultimately in good faith. And as a result, all the workers will be rewarded. And the iconic big three are going to still lead the world in quality and innovation because of you. Yeah. Look. But I'm a little selfish. I want this type of contract for all auto workers. And I have a feeling UAW has a plan for that. The future of the automobile industry will be made in America by American union workers. And I see the future here in Belvidere. Belvidere Assembly Plant was the beating heart of this community for nearly 6 decades, just like it was back in Delaware, where I was raised. 8 months ago, the plant idled indefinitely. 1,200 of you lost jobs. When that happens, a community loses more than jobs. It loses a sense of pride, loses a sense of being, loses a sense of dignity. What do you turn and say to your kids? What do you say to one another? Everything changes. It's devastating. Then this June, I had a combination with Matt about from the local UAW, as he just described. He said, "Tell me, what's going on with Belvidere?" He told me how critical it was to get that plan up and online again. So I told my team, make Stellantis know Belvidere is a priority. And I got on the phone and let him know personally I thought it was a priority. No. By the way, I can't take a lot of credit for that, but I watched it before. I watched it as a kid. I watched it as a senator. I watched what happened in my community. It changed everything. The state had a lot of other things going, but those folks were hurt badly. I can tell you one thing. It was my priority for you as well as a priority for all of you. That's why I personally brought it up with Mark Stewart, the head of North American Stellantis. Meanwhile, the UAW fought like hell to get these jobs back. And now you've secured nearly $5 billion in new investment to bring thousands of jobs back to Belvidere. They'll reopen that plant assembly, build mid-sized trucks, state-of-the-art battery factory, and a parts and distribution center right here in Belvidere. And folks, I'm fighting for a place like Belvidere because I came as a president determined to put an end to this trickle-down economics in this country. I mean, I'm serious. I'm deadly earnest. For too long, the wealthy and big corporations have done just fine. But the rest of us were cut out of that deal. Look, I see it differently. I don't look at the economy through the eyes of Wall Street or Park Avenue. I look at it through the eyes of the people I grew up with in Scranton, in Pennsylvania, and Claymont, Delaware. My guess is that's how Sean looks at it, too, the people he grew up with in Kokomo. Look, that view is that American workers are ready to work harder than anybody else. but they just need to be given a shot, a fair shot and a fair wage. That's not too much to ask. You okay? I want the press to know that wasn't me. You know, my dad used to have a saying, for real. He'd say, Joey, a job's about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity.
Yeah.
It's about, no, it really is. It's about respect. It's about your place in the community. It's about being able to go home and look at your kid in the eye and say, honey, it's going to be okay, and mean it. Well, guess what? That's exactly what's happening in Belvidere again.
Yeah.
With this UAW contract, you'll be treated fairly. You'll get a fair share of what you produce, and you'll get the dignity and respect you deserve right here at home. And I know maybe the press won't get this, but you all are members of the union will get it. And you'll be able to look your kid in the eye and say, honey, it's going to be okay. It matters. I ran for president to bring back good paying jobs that you can raise a family on, whether or not you went to college. To give working families more breathing room. And the way to do that is to invest in ourselves again, invest in America, invest in American workers. And that's exactly what we've done. Folks, since I took office, our nation has invested billions to supercharge advanced manufacturing here at home, including electric vehicles. China is determined to dominate the electric vehicle market by using unfair trade practices. But I will not let them. I promise you. I mean it. Look, let me give you an example. America invented the semiconductor, those little computer chips about the size of the tip of your little finger. They power everything in our lives, from cell phones, to refrigerators, to automobiles. As many as 3,000 are in a single electric vehicle. And over time, we went from producing 40, we invented the damn chips. No, we did. We invented them here in America. We used to produce 40% of them. Now we're down to 10%. We saw what happened in the pandemic when we couldn't get those chips, remember? People didn't know what else supply chain meant. We all know what supply chain means now, don't we? Well, I was determined that no supply chain is ever going to deny us, because it's going to start here in America, the supply chain. I really mean it. I literally went around the world convincing chip manufacturers in other parts of the world to come and invest in America. The end result is companies around the world are investing $200 billion to increase chip production. And by the way, they're going to produce a whole hell of a lot of jobs, too. You know those fabs, they call them, the factories they build? Like the one they're building west of Columbus, Ohio? Guess what? They employ thousands of people. And you know what the average wage in there is? $112,000, and you don't need a college degree. And then I kept talking about science. How can you be the leading country without investing in science and research? And because of the CHIPS and Science Act, which I put together and signed into law, the United States is going to invest another $50 billion to manufacture these semiconductors at home. Now we'll be able to ensure that we have a supply chain in a nation that we can rely on. Then, thanks to the bipartisan infrastructure law, which is over $1 trillion, guess what? We're building a network of 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations all across America by your brothers and sisters, the IBEW, and that's a first-rate outfit, man. These charging stations will be easy to find and reliable as any gas station. You'll be able to travel across the nation. And then we had the thing called the Inflation Reduction Act, which I put together, which I might add, not one guy on the other team voted for. And that law has driven nearly $100 billion in investment in electric vehicles and EV batteries here at home. And my administration announced a $12 billion to convert the existing auto factories to manufacture electric vehicles if they're in the transition. Because I strongly believe when a company transitions to a new technology, they should retool, reboot, and rehire in the same factories with the same workers in the same community that existed there before. They should get the first shot at the jobs. That's what you made happen here in Belvidere, and it should happen all across America. Let me tell you all the investments we're paying for. We're paying off. Sales of electric vehicles here at home have tripled since I took office. 80% of electric vehicles on the road today were made in America. And that means good paying jobs for American auto workers. That also means, let's think about this. When my predecessor, the distinguished, anyway. When my predecessor was in office, 6 factories closed across the country. Tens of thousands of auto jobs were lost nationwide. And on top of that, he was willing to cede the future of electric vehicles to China. He said if America invested in electric vehicles, it would drive down wages. It would destroy jobs. It would spell the end of the American automobile industry. Well, like almost everything else he said, he's wrong. And you have proved him wrong. Instead of lower wages, you want record gains. Instead of fewer jobs, you want a commitment for thousands of more jobs. Instead of less involvement and investment, you encourage American automakers to invest $40 billion in the American auto industry beginning now. $40 billion. And then we're going to shut down. Remember my other guy? And here's the difference. When you're in the middle of a fight, I stood and others stood with you shoulder to shoulder on that picket line. My predecessor went to a non-union shop and attacked you. I hope you guys have a memory. Where I come from, it matters. The truth is, if you hadn't listened to him, thank God you didn't. If you listen to him, since I became president, thanks to the investments we made in more than 20 new auto plants have opened across America. 20 new auto plants opened, not closed. And as a matter of fact, more already on the way, and 0 closed. My administration will keep working to make sure UAW has what it needs to outcompete China and everyone else in the world. I've reminded other world leaders it's never been a good bet to bet against America. It's never been a good, not a joke. Not a joke. When we invest in America and Americans, we never lose. Look, it's been true through our history, and it's still true today. Folks, you know what I knew growing up. For too long, the economy hasn't worked for working people in the middle class. And again, that's why I'm determined to build an economy, to build from the middle out and the bottom up instead of the top down. Not a whole lot trickle down to my dad's kitchen table from that trickle down economics. When we do that, the poor have a ladder up, middle class does well, and the wealthy still do very well, even though they don't pay their taxes. No, they got to start paying more tax. We all do well and America prospers. And the critical piece of growing the economy is worker power. I'm not just saying that. From an economic standpoint, it's worker power. You know, the agreements forged by Sean and the brothers and sisters of the UAW show how collective bargaining gives workers a seat at the table. And when that happens, you ensure your wages and compensation honor your contributions. And your employers succeed as well. They don't lose, they succeed. They do better. They secure the pay and benefits you can raise on family on. Retire with dignity. And I might add, the deals you struck show how collective bargaining works for companies as well. Look, the strong relationship between workers and management can mean record profits leading to record contracts. We're seeing it across the board, from UAW to rail workers, to port workers, to Teamsters, to health workers, to writers. Did you see they settled a strike? And you guys are really a harbinger. They settled a strike in Los Angeles. Now you'll be able to see whatever the hell you want to see. But look, it matters. I asked the U.S. Department of Treasury to do a full-blown study to determine, and they recently released a report showing that how unions are not just good for union workers, but non-union workers as well. You're right. No, but everybody, for the longest time, you know as well as I do, 10 years ago, the reason we were in trouble was unions. It's the exact opposite. Unions raise the standard across workplaces and industry, pushing up wages and strengthening benefits for everybody, whether you're a union member or not. So let me close with this. Our economy has made strong gains since I came to office. We have the strongest economic growth and the lowest inflation rate of any major economy in the entire world. We got more to do. We got more to do. But our economy grew, we'll bore you with a statistic, 4.9% last year. That's the highest growth in 2 years. More people are working today than ever in the United States of America. More. Unemployment has been under 4% for 21 straight months. That hadn't happened in a long time. Inflation has come down 2/3 since last summer. And it's going to come down more. And wages are actually going up. Not just in your industry, but wages are going up. It's a fancy way of saying is median household wealth has grown by 37% since the pandemic, meaning people are better off, 37% better off. We have more to do, but we're finally building an economy that works for the people, working people, the middle class, and as a consequence, the entire country. When you look out at all of you in the communities like Belvidere, I see real heroes of your story. You know, you and the American worker, you're the American people. Because of you, I can honestly say, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, I've never been more optimistic about America's future than I am today. And I know I only look like I'm 30, but I've been around a long time. We have to just keep going. Think about this. Is there ever anything America set its mind to as a nation that we've done together that we haven't succeeded? Not a joke. Ever. Anything. Well, you know, Donald Trump often says we're now, quote, we're now a failing nation. We're a nation in decline. And by the way, the reason I mention it is these mega Republicans. I don't know where they come from. No, I mean it sincerely. But that's not what I see. I, like you, I know this country. I know what we can do. And folks are given half a chance. That's why I'm so optimistic about our future. We just remember who we are. We are the United States of America. There is nothing beyond our capacity if we work together. Nothing, nothing, nothing. And you're making it happen. God bless you all. May God protect our troops. Thank you. Thank you.